Nice. And what are we looking at today?
What underlies a good holiday?
Oh,
What's a key component of a good holiday?
nice. I'm here for this.
Have you got one to mind? Has one popped up for you?
It's more like a collection of ideas about a holiday, basically lying on a beach.
Okay, yeah.
I tune into that quite a lot, especially with the hypnosis. I bring this image of being on the beach.
Now, in the run-up to it, can you tell me about some of the things that you did? Even if you're trying to picture how you got to that beach image.
Yeah, so dropping the bags off at the hotel, getting the towel, going down the path to the beach. Yeah, very bright.
Right there in the moment.
Yeah.
As we'd expect from you. How about in the preparation stages?
Okay.
What does it look like before you even got on the flight?
Okay, yeah. So probably will have seen a picture of a place and thought, that looks sunny, that looks nice. Then booked the flights first thing, or looked at hotels, booked the flights.
Excitement building with it.
Total excitement, yeah. And then left. That would be in the back of my mind probably, and then leave all the actual planning to like the day before probably. Yeah.
And how about things like telling people around you? Does that add to the excitement?
Yeah.
Work colleagues, friends?
Yeah.
Getting their tips about where to go, what to eat?
Definitely, yeah. Especially if someone's been there before, getting their ideas. I love that. Otherwise, it can be quite a lot to take in when you're with someone new.
And how about things like the out of office or a little drink on the plane on the way there?
Yeah.
All of these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I guess what I'm trying to walk you through here was this idea that all of these steps build up excitement, but there's something quite common to all of them, which is that you're giving yourself permission for holiday.
Yeah.
And not just from yourself, but actually everyone around you. And that's what I think is quite interesting about holidays. We had quite a formative holiday in Formentera in 2019. And that's where we really did sit and think, what is making this holiday so amazing? And that's where it kind of came to light that each of those steps frees you and allows you to holiday. And actually, the excitement is almost in the anticipation of having that permission.
Yeah.
Where, the people at work are already excited for you because they've told you where to go. So they're not going to bother you. You don't just have to put on your out of office. The work is going to be curtailed away from you so that you can have that break because you've been talking about it collectively.
Yeah.
And then it kind of leads on because as you go into the holiday, would you say that you hold back once you've been on the flight? Maybe you might choose more expensive options for food and drink. Is that right?
Yeah.
So they all kind of build on each other. Permission begets permission, begets permission. And so you're fully there, in a way, being present and almost meditative in the holiday experience.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I really like that. So she's saying, for me, it's a kind of openness to that. Well, that's permission, isn't it? Isn't it? And giving yourself permission to have that openness to this new experience, and it's all the little steps along the way. Because I know I probably know a couple of people, but they're sort of self-employed or own their own businesses, and they won't have an out of office email. They'll just do the emails on the plane, away, and sometimes they won't tell people. So there's probably less of this build-up, and it's less permission for that to be time off. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have to stay a bit more in touch with their own business.
Yep.
But yeah, all those, they would probably not have all those stages on the lead up to that.
But understandably, it's that same variance underneath it of whether you're able, and in that instance, it's about themselves giving themselves more permission. And then it becomes quite exciting because then we thought, hold on, why do I actually need to go to Spain for this? Spanish islands are amazing, don't get me wrong, we had a great time there. But what about the East Yorkshire coast?
Yeah.
Why don't I splash out every time I go to the East Yorkshire coast more often? And that permission of saying, I will, and I'll be there for that moment. Almost brings the possibility, not so much just of a holiday mindset, but of a meditative mindset, or enjoying the moment as it is, into more options. You don't have to wait for your allocated annual leave or holiday. It can be in the smaller decisions, and so the permission once again builds, and it's quite an exciting. It's the opportunities that come out of looking at where you are and where you're not giving yourself permission. Has been something I've been musing on ever since. But.
So, do you have any ideas how you might? I love this concept, by the way. So, how you might give yourself permission for these activities, holidays, breaks that you might not give yourself permission to be fully in. Any clues how you might bring that in?
How you bring in the permission where it's not there?
Yeah, to fully. I guess the idea is to be fully present in these other experiences that aren't 2 weeks holiday. Yeah.
I think a good way of approaching that is to work out where your assumptions are. Why are you assuming you don't have permission? Now, it might be the fact that, sometimes we can just say in certain situations, I need a holiday. And you might get that feedback at work or from friends like, yeah, you do need a holiday.
Yeah.
That's just that conversation has started of, I've started to get that permission. Now, in the same way, you might just want to check, where is my assumption that I don't have the permission to do this? Where is my assumption that I don't have the permission to enjoy today? Because objectively, today is a lovely spring day here in Leeds. I can't see any reason not to have permission to enjoy today.
Yeah.
But if there's somewhere in the background a kind of, inner voice, inner critic, reminding you of maybe you should do this first, maybe you should do that first, and that's a constant struggle for many of us.
Yeah.
But the more we get used to doing that process and giving ourselves a permission, then we can compartmentalize it. But no, this is my permission for this.
Yeah.
And I will go back to X, Y, and Z that I need to do later on.
Yeah, I like that. And two ideas are coming up. It'll be interesting to hear what you think. One is that people may have a specific kind of inner critic. It might be a voice around, no, you haven't done enough work, or you can't afford it, or something along those lines. And the other idea is that not to search for that big thing, but to just give yourself permission in loads of little things, and that's how you become a person that is good at giving permission.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of what you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and it doesn't have to be in the holiday. We took it from that holiday experience and started applying it to just day-to-day stuff. And it doesn't mean to go to the other end and go to straight frivolity and start blowing money unnecessarily.
Yeah.
But just in the smaller things, just to have that acceptance that I'm going to give myself permission for this, and I have no reason not to.
Love it.